What's up everyone, this is FP6 coming at you with another episode of Top Battles of the Week, where I feature some of the top battles that have been submitted by the members of the community, and make sure to stay tuned for the end of this video where I feature the top battle of the week. So as always, these battles have been submitted in a couple different formats, some in Ultra Premier, some in Retro Cup, and so let's jump right into the video and take a look at some of these top battles of the week. This first battle has been submitted by Ryoto Yokoyama, running Deoxys into Hypno. So this is a fairly neutral matchup here. And having Medicham in the back, Medicham definitely needs to avoid this. Hypno attempts a catch of the Shadow Ball on the Lickitung, but the opponent does not take the bait. And now the opponent brings out their own defense Deoxys. This is, once again, a relatively neutral matchup here. Both Pokemon are hitting for super effective, but this Lickitung is running Hyper Beam. Does this Deoxys shield? Typically, Lickitungs have Body Slam, and the Lickitung is able to take out that Deoxys there. Because most people expect the Body Slam from the Lickitung, so no shield. This Lickitung is continuing to go off on this Hypno here, and actually able to get to a Power Whip. That is amazing. Gonna get all the way farmed down by this Hypno, but switches into the Deoxys to avoid that farm down. This Hypno is still gonna be kind of difficult to deal with, but able to dump that energy on it, trying to deny the Hypno of all this energy. It was pretty much capped at 100 energy, so shields the Ice Punch. This is probably the Shadow Ball. Oh man, and the opponent correctly baits. Out comes Snorlax to snipe down the defense Deoxys. Out comes Medicham here. You really need to farm up as much as possible against this Snorlax to have a little bit of energy to threaten the Hypno as well. But the Hypno did just throw an Ice Punch and a Shadow Ball, so it is fairly energy dry. It does not have a move stored quite yet, and it is very low. Farming, and catches a Body Slam on the Lickitung. So challenging to catch charge moves against one-turn fast move users. Very impressive catch there, and able to counter down the Hypno. Very nice game. Up next we have Siva Cavalcante. I might have butchered that name, but we have, looks like this is an Ultra Premier. We have XL Altaria up against a Shadow Dragon Breath Gyarados. Now, this Dragon Breath damage is hitting for super effective on the Altaria, and so most likely going to switch out of here eventually, and switches into the Galvantula, another XL Pokemon here in Ultra Premier, to catch that Aqua Tail that still does so much damage. Out comes Talonflame, but CVA does have a shield advantage right now, which is really good. So just going to go straight for the discharge, but the opponent correctly shields that as well. This is a very loaded Talonflame, but still has two shields here. Has a G-Fisk in the back to handle the Gyarados. Essentially just going to need to land a Rock Slide on that. The Gyarados still has a little bit of residual energy as well. And the opponent actually goes for a Flame Charge bait and calls it correctly. Very nice play. Going to no shield that move as well. Calls both of the Flame Charge baits, but loses the CMP tie here on the Rock Slide. Definitely has to shield this. This is a very boosted Talonflame. This Rock Slide is easily going to be able to one-shot this Talonflame now. What is in the back? We know that there's still a Gyarados. Out comes the Gyarados, and it's able to get to this Aqua Tail. This is going to do a decent amount of chip damage to this G-Fisk. So gonna commit the last shield, overfarm just slightly, so we have some energy to threaten what is in the back. The Altaria is extremely low. I don't know if it has a move stored quite yet, but it was very close. Out comes Hypno. Man, a lot of XL Mons right here. Is this Hypno running Focus Blast? It's getting very close to the energy. I think they're at 6 confusions here, so this has got to be just a punch. And it's an Ice Punch. Going to farm up to the Earthquake, recognizing that it's going to lose CMP, and perfectly catches on the Altaria, catches the Ice Punch, able to get to this Earthquake here, throws one Mud Shot, and then queues up the Earthquake to not allow an entire free confusion to go through, and able to Mud Shot down the Hypno. Beautiful play. Next battle we have Makati 1001. We have a Crustle mirror match right off the bat, and oh my gosh, this backline is so weak to Crustle, so we need to get rid of this thing right here. Looks like has a pretty decent PvP IV spread on this, because the opponent hit the red first and they fully let it go down. Out comes Mew. This is also a disaster for our back line, so going to throw an X-Scissor on this Mew, and then does not want to get farmed down. Both of these Pokemon in the back are equally going to struggle against Mew, so we don't want it to let it get an energy advantage. And this Frostlass is actually running Hex instead of Powder Snow. So this is hitting super effective on the Mew. Typically people will run Powder Snow on their Frostlass, but this is definitely a surprise here. And lands the Avalanche to take out the Mew. In the back is a Gengar. This is an absolute nightmare. Mew and Gengar in the back. Gonna bring out the AWAC here. It is running Fire Spin and able to catch a move on the Crustle. Very, very nice to kind of shut down the energy advantage that the Gengar had. Gonna bring in the Alolan Marowak here. No extra Shadow Claw goes through and needs to land this second Bone Club here. Gets the shield. This is a CMP tie here, and this Bone Club should be coming through and do just enough damage to take out the Gengar. Very nice catch on the Crustle, and very nice job not getting farmed down. So the opponent doesn't have a huge energy advantage. Good game. Up next we have Danottawa, who has been featured on this segment before. Really nice battles. Vigoroth in the lead is very challenging, and we also have a Zangoose in the back. That's going to be very difficult for against the Vigoroth as well. And this Defense Deoxys safe swap is hard punished by a Drifblim. This is not looking good. But the opponent actually shields the first move that Defense Deoxys throws. That is definitely a surprise, because Drifblim easily survives a Rock Slide, and Dan calls the Icy Wind bait. This is why if I'm in the Drifblim, if I am the Drifblim in this scenario, I typically just like to go straight Shadow Ball, because if you fail an Icy Wind bait like this, it puts the Defense Deoxys in ahead in this matchup. It goes for another Icy Wind. Dan is calling all of these baits. He does not care. He baited out the Drifblim and got a shield advantage, and now swaps into the Abomasnow to avoid getting farmed down, but is hard punished by an Alolan Marowak. Thank goodness this is a Hex Alolan Marowak and not a Fire Spin AWAC, so they cannot farm all the way down, but they will leave this with a lot of stored energy. Dan throws one Powder Snow and then queues up the Weather Ball for optimal move timing. And just going to have to continue to chip away against this AWAC. You can see Dan is playing very clean with the fast move timing here, not allowing a bunch of free extra energy to sneak through from the opponent's side. They are going to farm up a lot because this Weather Ball damage is really not that threatening on the AWAC. They have essentially 100 energy stored here. They are continuing to farm. Are they running Bone Club as the secondary move here? Actually shields up a Shadow Bone, stores some energy, and switches into Zangoose to try to snipe it down. But the only way you can take out this Vigoroth is with an energy advantage, and if you can land a close combat. Goes for the Night Slash bait, successfully baits with the Night Slash. Zangoose will win CMP against the Vigoroth, and this is going to most likely come down to CMP. Able to get to this close combat, and this is actually not CMP. The Vigoroth was most likely one counter away. But this close combat is going to be able to one-shot the Vigoroth, and out comes the Alolan Marowak, able to Shadow Claw it down. Really nice plays there, Dan, and a really tough team comp to come back from. Up next, we have Sushi Roll 824. Shadow Swampert lead into a Venusaur. This is an absolute nightmare. Looks like we're playing an Ultra Premier. Typhlosion into Jellicent. This is terrible, but the opponent poorly times their fast move, and Sushi no shields this. The opponent goes for a Bubble Beam bait. And now Sushi is going to go for a Blast Burn bait and actually gets the shield. The nice thing about Typhlosion is that you do have access to Solar Beam. Does Sushi shield this? No shield. The Shadow Ball survives with a Sliver, under taps the Solar Beam here, and gets both shields from a Jellicent, which was already a positive matchup for the Jellicent. So really nice energy management, and no shields on Sushi's side. Luckily, this Shadow Swampert is running Earthquake, so we'll be able to get to this Earthquake against the Jellicent. This Jellicent is addicted to the Bubble Beam, and Sushi does not care. Gonna no-shield all of this. Able to get to the Earthquake, it does not KO. Wanted to swap into the Charizard there to get a head start on energy. Another Bubble Beam, so going to swap to clear this debuff. 2 shields up, Wing Attack Charizard against the G-Fisk. The opponent can still switch out if they want to, but going to get hit by a Blast Burn. This G-Fisk does survive a Blast Burn. Has to shield up this Rock Slide. The Dragon Claw damage is not going to do quite enough, so needs to over farm in this matchup slightly. I believe the G-Fisk is barely going to survive this. Yes. Has to Wing Attack this down, shield this, Wing Attack this down, and then hope that the Charizard can one-shot whatever's in the back. Oh, you better believe it. It is a Venusaur in the back. Going to survive this, going to get to the Blast Burn, and then Charizard's going to take out the G-Fisk. Very nice energy management, under tapping, and really nice no-shield calls on all of those Bubble Beams. Able to come back from a very difficult lead and swap in. Nice game, Sushi. Up next we have Forest Andros. Let's see what we got here. Kingdra into G-Fisk. And this is in Ultra Premier, it looks like. And yikes, Forest's backline is also kind of weak to this G-Fisk. This is kind of a tough Pokemon for this team to handle. So, but gets the debuff with the Kingdra. Oh my gosh, it always feels bad. And no shields the Rock Slide bait. Oh my gosh. Out comes Venusaur. This Venusaur is getting a jump start on energy, able to catch the Frenzy Plant on the Gengar here. And now the Gengar gets to avoid that G-Fisk matchup, which is really nice. But gets outpaced to this Sludge Bomb. Actually going to shield this, potentially over farm a little bit. Gengar does win CMP. Very nice over farm here. Going to store this Shadow Punch. Pretty much capped at 100 energy here. The opponent actually shields because this was a CMP tie. Wow. So going to double shield as well. This is a lot of energy. Able to barely Shadow Claw this down. The Mud Shot went through, but going to throw the Shadow Punch. And then Forest transfers the Mud Shot damage onto the Kingdra and goes for another Octazooka. The Gengar is still alive with a sliver of health and lots of energy stored. This was another CMP tie here. No debuff though, and the Earthquake does take out the Kingdra. This is perfect farm for the Empoleon though, and Gengar still has energy stored. It is a Gallade in the back. Oh man. The Penguin is barely able to get to this Drill Peck before the close combat is going to be coming through. This is definitely going to one-shot Empoleon here. And then it's just a matter of, can this Gengar take out Gallade? Able to Shadow Claw down with one Shadow Claw, and then has the Shadow Punch loaded here. And Shadow Punch is just enough to take out the G-Fisk. Really nice play. Really nice play. Up next we have Gray Meta 20 YT. Crustle into Machamp. Absolute disaster. Venusaur into Dragonite. A small disaster. The thing with this matchup is that Venusaur can threaten shields just like that, especially being in Ultra League. Dragonite is still fairly glassy, and Venusaur is able to get to 2 Sludge Bombs here. So in the no shield scenario, if the Dragonite does go for the Dragon Claw, able to get a shield advantage. That's very good for Gray Meta. Able to farm it down with the Crustle, but Machamp totally walls off all that energy from Crustle. In the back is Lapras. Gallade has to do a lot of cleanup here. Double shielded Gallade against the world. I really like the timing of the fast moves there. Throws 2 Confusions for the 3 Ice Shards. That's 8 turns inside of 9 turns. Really nice, precise timing here. Gonna go for another Leaf Blade. But Lapras is able to survive this and able to catch this move on the Crustle. Able to catch the Surf. But this offers more farm for the Machamp. This is not great at all. Gonna go for the X-Scissor here. And that puts the Machamp into Leaf Blade range. But for some reason the game slightly lags and Machamp is able to get off the move there. Because I'm pretty sure Gallade wins CMP, but down goes the Machamp and then able to Confusion down the Lapras there. Very good game. Up next we have Matt Attack 1996. We have a Lapras on a Hypno, relatively neutral matchup. Looks like this is in Retro Cup. Shadow Hypno could be running Thunder Punch. This is obviously really not good for the Primeape. Out comes Defense Deoxys. Actually just going to bring the Primeape out here because at least it has the Night Slash damage. But where is Primeape going to go against this team? We've seen a Hypno. We've seen a Defense Deoxys. Luckily the DD allows the Primeape to get off that Night Slash first before the Psycho Boost comes through. Actually going to shield the first Psycho Boost. Counter goes through on the back-to-back. No shields this Psycho Boost and knows that you survive with a Sliver. Very nice recognition of how much damage that was going to do, and able to take out the Defense Deoxys there. Very nice. Most likely the Hypno comes back out and farms down again. Yep, there's the Hypno. What move does this Hypno have? That is the question. It has a lot of energy. Gonna no shield the Shadow Ball and barely survive and under tap to get this Surf damage off. That's huge. They shielded up, so going to switch into the Hypno and try to get a jump start on energy, running Fire Punch and Shadow Ball. We know that this Hypno is running Shadow Ball, so has to shield the Shadow Ball. In the back is a Mew. Oh my gosh, Primeape had nowhere to go. Gonna go straight for the Shadow Ball here. No messing around, and the opponent no shields. They thought that Matt was baiting. And so at this point in time, Matt recognizes that this is just going to be a fast move win here. Able to confusion down the Mew and able to confusion down the Hypno, just barely. Simultaneous feint, and the Lapras was still alive to win that game. Very nice game. And here it is, folks, the top battle of the week. This has been submitted to me by Jonathan Kelly, one of my friends and patrons. Really talented battler, and this battle is up against Alpha Hedonis, a really talented battler as well. So Altaria into Vigoroth. This is slightly favorable for Altaria because it's resisting the counters, but Vigoroth does have play in the 2-shield in this matchup. Has a Lickitung and a Machamp in the back. So the Lickitung definitely wants to avoid this Body Slam. The opponent chips with a Body Slam and actually going to throw another Body Slam here. And out comes a Lantern. John is going to store some energy here and then eventually make a swap into the Lickitung. This is really nice because the Lickitung now gets to avoid the Vigoroth and correctly calls the Hydro Pump call there. That's a big shield. Gonna go straight for the Power Whip and see what the opponent wants to do. They let that go through. So this is looking for like some nice farm for the Lickitung. Most likely the Lantern goes straight for the Hydro Pump once again. They actually go for Thunderbolt here. Very interesting. Able to almost get the farm down on the Lantern, but it survives with minimal health and is going to be able to get this Thunderbolt off. The opponent actually immediately switches into Vigoroth and preserved that very slight health Lantern completely out of energy. Down goes the Vigoroth. 2 shields. What is in the back? Oh my gosh, it's a Mew? That is not good at all. Gonna throw this Body Slam and then immediately switch into Machamp to not allow this Mew to get a big energy advantage. But this is not good. The counters are resisted. This Machamp needs to successfully bait and land a Rock Slide. John is going straight for the Rock Slide here. Does this land? No, it gets shielded. That is very bad. Farming, goes for the Cross Chop, and the opponent catches on their no HP Lantern. Amazing play. Out comes the Mew again. Beautiful counting by the opponent because Machamp would have won CMP. This Mew pretty much has 2 moves loaded and it wins CMP against both of these Pokemon. What do? John brings out the Lickitung and immediately swaps into the Altaria to throw the loaded Sky Attack in the middle of the fast move animation of the Mew. This ending of this game was so insane that we need to watch this again in slow motion here. This Mew is loaded, has a move stored, wins CMP against both of these Pokemon. So John brings out the Lickitung to convince the opponent to try to farm it down, and right in the middle of the Shadow Claw animation, he swaps and queues up the Sky Attack. Really, really nice play. Thank you everyone for submitting the battles. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. If you like the content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.